Good morning. I'm going to introduce you to our worst noxious weed that we are fighting in a couple of places at the garden. This is called field bindweed. Sometimes it's called morning glory. And what we have is this vine. It looks like just kind of innocent. It's about 6 inches tall right now. And you can see that I've been attempting to spray it with horticultural vinegar, so you can see that some of it has died back and grown back, so it's not going to kill it to spray it, but it might help us control the growth to keep it from flowering. Our whole objective is to keep it from flowering and setting seed. Now, one thing that's interesting, so this area right here, once we knock it back, it's pretty awful right now. When we pull that out, we want to make sure all of that gets in the garbage. Bindweed has a tenacious root system. It goes down about 10 feet and it can go out about 30 feet. So the only way really to kill it is to either use a terrible toxin like Roundup, and we are going to try not to do that, or to suffocate it by pulling off this top growth, which is going to feed the whole root system, and just repeatedly control the top growth so that the roots eventually die. One thing I wanted to show you is that in this area of the garden we also had terrible bindweed, but you can see it's much better. This area last fall we mulched with cardboard and then spread leaves on top, and that seems to showing quite a bit of bindweed control versus this patch, which we did not get all under cardboard. We did mulch really heavily in here, but we didn't use a cardboard first. So that's definitely something to consider. When you're working with this weed, it's really important that it gets in the garbage, not the compost, or not just drying down behind you, and that you get as much of the root. So like this one, when I pull this up or cut it off with the hula hose, I want to get as much of that root as possible, but I also need to understand that this is going to grow back for a couple of pulls before those roots start to die. So I'm going to take that all to the garbage. Even though it doesn't look like it, it's really close to flowering and setting seed, and we can really cause problems if we let it set seed. So in this area we will add a cardboard layer. That definitely seemed to help over on this stretch along the sidewalk as far as making it easier to control. And we are going to try to prevent it spread through the whole garden. If you see this plant bindweed anywhere in the garden, please pull it immediately and put it in the garbage. It is our worst offender. And then we're going to add a fortress garden in here, it's called. So we're going to use plants that produce chemicals in their roots that will help suppress it. And so we're going to plant a row of Jerusalem artichokes along the alley here, and add in some yarrow and some sunflowers, and then a row of sorghum behind it. And then in this area here, we're going to knock the bindweed back. We're going to add a layer of cardboard with some pine on top, or leaves on top, and then we're going to add pumpkins in to again help smother it. So that is our bindweed problem, and I would greatly appreciate anyone's help pulling this stuff up. Thank you.